Welcome to Shays Spiritual Insights. Glad you're all here. It looks like we have a cozy little group. We have Paula, Jessica, Marci, and of course myself. And Tonya just jumped in. So we have Tonya too. Pat, I happen to know right at this moment is on the phone with Deborah. So she won't be here until she's done with that phone call. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, Aaron's here as well. Wonderful. Welcome, Aaron. Let's welcome everyone. So I don't have a lot of opening comments. Marci and I were talking before we started recording. Lisa is here as well. That the energies have been up, and I think that's true. Generally speaking, it has not subsided over the years, and it just keeps ramping up. And what I'm seeing happen too is that depending on what's happening in our lives, depends on how much we're going to have going on. So I don't have a lot of opening comments this time. Boy, we had everybody jump in. We have Lisa and Pat is now here. I think you were on the phone with Deborah a moment ago. So that's all I have. I don't have a lot of opening comments. I want to hear what's going on with everyone here. And I'm going to start at the top left like I do. And of course, you guys move around on the screen from time to time for whatever reason. But welcome, everyone. And so glad to see you. Oh, boy, what an exciting time we're in. All kinds of energetic stuff is coming in. I can tell you. I'm in the middle of just share a little bit happening. We went and helped move my niece here a couple of weeks ago. And thanks to Paula, who shared, and Fred sharing their construction trailer made it possible for me to endeavor to move my niece from one storage unit to another and then haul some stuff over to Great Falls. Anyway, as a consequence of that trip, boy, I've had a lot of stuff just go away, new connections made, and I'm in the integration process. And it's affecting many of my bodies. And I don't know if I'm sure all this has happened to you as well, many of you. It's affecting my mental body. I was at work trying to remember, I don't know, the number to onions or something, the four-digit code to type it in. And it's like all of a sudden, I couldn't recall what onions were. And I do it all day long. And I knew, and I could, a few more things like that happened. I said, okay, I can see I took a look and said, yep, I see what's happening. We're just going to flow with this. And if I need to, I'll go look things up and then it'll all smooth out again. So I know that when we're ready right now, because of the intensity of the energies coming in, lots of things are happening. And it's just incredible. And I want to hear again what all of you are doing. Well, now Lisa has moved into the pole position here. So she's number one. You ready to talk or no? Not yet. Okay, we'll start. We'll start. Is Pat ready, or do you want to wait too?
No, I can go ahead and go. And
I would love that because you usually defer. So this is great. We have a kind of mark it on your calendars. Pat went first.
We just barely got home from the Flathead. We've been gone 2 days. And I'm just going to start by saying, talk about stress. But first, I want to thank any of you that were aware of what we were doing and happening to be about part of the bailing out process with Christopher and setting intentions before we ever went home. And I got less than 4 hours of sleep the night before. So I was like what I call tanked. I was just out of it. But you know what? Having set the intentions and working with creation the way we were doing and stating it and restating it, it was amazing when we had to go out and pick up his paperwork from a lady that was helping him out near Hooper's, and she's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And even the bail bondsman calling him, meeting him at the jail to get Chris bailed out with his debit card. That man was, and when I first shook his hand, and I guess he said, "How are you?" And I said, "Oh, I only had like 4 hours of sleep." He said, "This is very stressful. This is very stressful things to do."
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you could feel it. We didn't spend much time with him, but I just felt like a lot of good feelings. And it's like everything we did, I had a list going that I'd made because I knew Chris would be totally stressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't usually take this much time on myself, but I'm feeling okay about it tonight, so I'm going to continue. It's like when he finally, came out of the back of the jail, and we sat in the car and we talked a bit, and I told him I had these lists of connections like Social Security, case management, and right down the line. Um, and we said we're working with creation here, and it's going to guide us. And that's exactly what happened. I couldn't even believe how much happened the first day, because he didn't get out of there until it was probably 12:40 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So starting on this list was like, but every place he went, people were receptive. They wanted to help him. Even Western Montana, which we thought, mental health, we thought he was totally kicked out of there. No, they said, take an application, because one of the people had said, see if the PAC team, which is a special group of people
Mm-hmm.
that help people like Chris with mental illness things,
Mm-hmm.
they, that seems like it's all going to open up. They sent him out with some paperwork to fill out, which he took, and then we did several other things. And John was perfect. He just had to drive all these different places.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, like today went the same way. Last night in the motel, we were just all totally whooped. And interestingly enough, I was okay with this, but I wouldn't have normally been. Ended up at the wrong motel. I mean, I called the wrong motel where we normally would not have stayed. We call it a dive,
Mm-hmm.
but it worked out fine. It worked out just fine. And so and today went smooth. And I think the hardest part was knowing what he was going to have to deal with, and he didn't want us to drop him off at the homeless shelter. It's one of the only ones in Kalispell, because he said then the people in line are going to see you have a nice Subaru and go, why aren't you going home with your parents? Anyway, knowing what he was going to have to deal with there, but I if he can stay centered and balanced and with creator, this too will work. And yeah, now we'll just see the next step. So anyway, thank you all for listening. John, was there anything you wanted to add?
Yeah.
He said no, I said it all.
Well, thank you for sharing. And I'm glad that everything went smoothly, and that's what you needed and he needed, and that looks like the universe and the divine just really made that happen so that things
Oh,
start out, smoothly and well.
yeah, unbelievable, unbelievable. I mean, since the beginning of time have had new beginnings and hard things, like Saint Germain, went to jail and all that and died, I think, moneyless. It's like nothing new, but when it happens to like your niece, to those folks that we know, it's pretty tough. And as they say, once your kid, always your kid. He may be 40 years old, but he's got a mental illness, he's an addict, and on and on. So yeah, thank you all.
Well, he's lucky
Thank
to have both of you too. So,
you. Yeah,
very,
really grateful for this group.
yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. And again, it's wonderful. It's what a blessing that it went so smoothly and well, and if that's what it appears. And let's just keep that energy going to have it continue.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wow. I'm going to move on to Paula here. Does Paula have anything to share? Any questions to ask? Anything at all?
Well, thank you, everybody. I'd say it's lovely to see everyone, but I can only see 3 out of the 9 of us. So just a little humor. Pat, I can hear it in your voice. It sounds like you made it to the top of the mountain is the words I just heard.
Mm.
There's a release, a relief, and a calmness in your voice that really bespeaks how by doing it the way you did, allowed everything to really follow through in the path that was best for. So I'm very happy that you shared that with us.
Yeah.
I don't have much tonight. The energies have been just so high and so low. I've had a couple days of just kind of some melancholy, I guess I would call it. But you know, to be expected. It's a lot going on energetically. So nothing major for me other than just I love being here and sharing it with everyone.
Well, thank you, Paula. And it's for the lows, and that goes with the high energies. And when you have the high energies coming in, they're raising us up, as we often say. And I'm having it myself. A bunch of stuff was just released, gone. Some of it got processed through, and that's, you know, it gets a little bit of the emotions that were whatever they were associated with it. But that's a good thing because that they're leaving and they're being released, and that's what's indeed happening with you. And you got a couple more things coming up, and these just old things that it's good that you're letting them go. It's time for them to be gone. So yes. So thank you for sharing.
Yep.
Wow. Aaron, do you have anything to share? Anything, questions, anything at all?
So I'm at the grocery store, so hopefully it's not too loud.
Actually, no,
Um,
it's pretty good.
okay. So yeah, I guess I just love some encouragement. I've been struggling a little bit these past couple of weeks, and yeah, just like, am I separating well from my entanglements, and things are going to move forward soon? I guess is my question.
Well, to answer your first question, which is it's, and you've been really working through them, and you are, the entanglements are kind of like spaghetti, you know, where it all gets mixed up, and they're coming apart, and it's probably more slowly than you would like, and it seems slowly, and it actually is, but it needs to be to keep things, as I often talk about, you know, keep things level, keep the apple cart, all the apples on the apple cart, however you want to think of it, but so that things don't unwind too quickly for you. And so that new energies can come in as the old ones are separating, because you have the higher ones coming in to replace them. And there's some low self resistance on some of it. There is, but you also have low self acceptance of some of it as well. So it's coming in, and that process will continue for a while, and it can accelerate. I think it'll feel like the skies will clear a little bit here in the next couple, with week and a half, 2 weeks. Still going to be dealing with stuff, but it's going to get a little better for you because you're going to have some more separation on that, and you'll start seeing more of the possibilities. I'll say it that way.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you more, but that's the process you're in, and sometimes that's just the nature of it. It just goes the speed that it goes, and this one, trust me, you don't want it to speed up. It's going as fast enough right now for you.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. And so your guides are really working with you on this. It may not seem that way, but they are. They're doing a lot right behind the scenes, and they're kind of doing it. I call it kind of incognito, you know, when they're helping you, but it may look like if you talk to them at all, they'll say, yeah, we're doing something, but it may seem like, well, they're not doing much. But the reality is they're doing a lot, but they have to do it in this way because of the processes you're in. And that's where I'm going to leave it at. You know, perhaps in 2 or 3 next month, or, you know, a couple of weeks, you can shoot me an email or something. We can talk a little bit about it, but you need to break further away from this before we can really talk about it more.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Thank
Yeah, I wish I could
you.
tell you more, but it's going in a positive direction.
Okay. That's all I need to know. I'm just like, is
but
it
but it's got some
happening?
stuff mixed in with it. So, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Yeah, it's got that stuff
Yeah.
mixed in with it too, but it's going the right direction. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody keeps moving around on my screen. I'd love to know why that happens. There's got to be some reason. I think Zoom just does it for fun. Like, oh, he thinks it's a sort of wait now. We're going to change it. So, Jessica, do you have anything to share? Any questions to ask? Anything at all?
Hi.
Hello.
So yeah, so after our session,
Mhm.
so I've been really nauseous, and then of course the cats have been nauseous for like 4 days now
Mhm.
and throwing up all over the place. And just feeling a little off,
Mhm.
like everything hasn't integrated or set right yet.
Yeah, boy, and more to come.
So is this going to go on for a long is there anything I can do about the nauseous thing or with the cats?
Well, I don't know about supplement wise, but what happened during your session? And I'll share it just the abbreviated part with the group, and you can share more if you wish to. But you really plugged into a whole bunch of old stuff went away. I mean, lots of it, heavy stuff, and that was great. That made way for all kinds of new connections to happen, and you really, really the divine and your higher guidance really made some things happen. So what you're experiencing, the nauseousness is a physical effect of super high energies coming in that the low self isn't necessarily ready for. And it's affecting your cats because that way, unfortunately or fortunately, however we want to think of it, they were part of the session there. So they're linked in there. But it's going to subside in a little bit. Meditating can help. Do you have an earthing mat?
Yes, they threw up all over it. So I
Okay,
had
well, if you can clean that up, and go earth an hour to 2 hours a day for a while, that is going to help you. Or just go stand out. Dr. McKimmy, a healer we used to know, he used to say, go out, stand out in the dirt in your bare feet for a minimum of 10 minutes, preferably up to 30 minutes, but it has to be dirt. That's even better than grounding on a mat. But either way, that's going to help you. Nutritionally, if anyone here knows some things that you can do, that would be good. I would say stay away from fatty foods, caffeines, sugars, any of the low frequency foods, chocolate. The low self may crave it because it's had a whole lot of stuff cleared out, new connections made, and you're in that process. I call it the letting go, reconnection, and there's this constant rebalancing and integration process. And because your guides have queued up a bunch of things for you, and they're in process right now as we speak, this is going to go on for a while. That's what I can say. But those are things you can do. Eat healthy foods, meditate, and ground. Grounding will certainly help you wonderfully. But
okay.
it's going to be happening for a while. You've had they have shifted you upwards in your connection and frequency, and your being is going to slowly elevate like a hot air balloon upwards and upwards. And as more stuff gets released and more connections are made and integrate.
Yay.
Yeah. So a lot happened, and I will share, and you can if you can share to the extent you want, but far more happened than your guides let on beforehand. I mean, they generally tell me what's going to happen, and I know the general outline, but no session ever happens the way I think it does. It happens as we talked about during the session, as we continue to flow with it, more and more opportunities queue up, and that's what happened with you. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
But
So
you're doing fine.
okay, good.
Yes. And in the effect that it's having on your cats, that's to be expected because they're not used to that kind of energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and just to toot your horn, you and Deborah, it was a beautiful session. Highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't had one, or if you've had one, even.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
It
thank
was your time for it. And that's what's always important is having a session when it's, if you're called to do it and when it's the right time. So thank you very much. and just keep flowing with it. We're excited for you. This is a real opportunity, and you are taking advantage of it. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to go have Tonya. Do you have anything to share? To ask or anything at all?
Hello. Oh, it's been a week. It has been a week. Usually I'm pretty level, pretty grounded, like pretty just kind of all around good. And this week has been just highs and lows emotionally, just a lot going on. Just can't get centered. Like everything feels like chaos this week, really.
Why do you sense that possibly is? I think you know a little bit of it, at least.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are shifting and changing, and kind of like you've talked about things falling away. And I've seen a lot of that already. And I think it's basically a continuation of it, but for whatever reason, this week is just intense.
Yeah, you just nailed it, by the way. That is exactly what's happening. You think of it like there's been loose dirt that needs to fall away so that the cliff face can be exposed again. That's the real mountain. And it's been all of a sudden, its little pieces have been going, and all of a sudden, a whole bunch of it goes, and you got all the different pieces and parts of it. And that's what happened is a whole bunch of it together, but all kinds of different pieces and parts, and it jumbles everything. And it really affects our emotional body, etheric, causal, mental body can make us feel like confused, discombobulated, however, whatever word you want to put on it. And then our interactions with others, of course, because we're in this state, take on sometimes those same characteristics. They can. So we can find sometimes challenges at work or social settings or even in personal relationships when we're in the middle of this. So you're doing fine. And this is going to continue for a while. There's more, some of it's fallen away and kind of still hanging there. And it's waiting. Boy, your low self is really ready to let this stuff go. But I think there's part of it holding on to. There's part of because the low self's not one monolithic thing. It's all the different pieces and parts and aspects and stuff. But long story short, overall, it's ready to let go, and that's going to continue happening here and again in a little bit. This one should be a little bit smoother, I think, but it's always hard to tell. And if anyone else has any insights, I'd love to hear it.
It sure doesn't feel smoother.
Not right now, isn't it? No, I'm saying after this one. After this one, there's another one. There's some more remaining that's going to be coming, and that's going to start falling away. That next one should be a little smoother, although it's going to have some jumbledness with it too. But no, what you're experiencing is very natural for what you're going through, and just keep yourself in the light. Keep yourself in your protective bubble, like we talked about. Keep yourself grounded, and if you can do grounding too, that helps. Believe it or not. I don't know if you have an earthing mat, but if you do, please do use it. 2 to 3 days a week, maybe an hour or more a day, or to actually do grounding, either one. And how much do you meditate?
Every week, probably at least about like 2-3 times a week.
Yeah, your guides, and it would like you to continue doing that. And if you can do it, I don't know why they're saying this, but in a more in greater solitude. I'm not sure if that's the right word. In greater, away from noise and sounds and other distractions. Just totally unplug the whole. Get it as quiet as you can during this time. It's going to help the stuff move a little more firmly. And in connecting with your high self, and we have some meditations out there on Shays Insights. Any one of them, all of them guide us through the process, but see if you find one that you're connected to, that calls to you, and your higher guidance right now, one of your guides, your primary female guide would like you to find one that resonates with you and listen to it. It'll help you. That whole process of regardless of the meditation, the whole process of getting into the meditation will help connect you with some higher aligning energies that you're needing right now, and help get this to move on, help it process faster.
Okay, I will definitely do that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And just whatever you're called to, regardless of the title, I'm a firm believer. Our intuitive self knows, our heart knows what we need, and we just got to make sure our head doesn't get in the way. And I say that at the same time as sometimes I know better and I do it myself. So there you have it.
Right.
Well, is there anything else?
No, that's about it for right now.
Well, listen, hang in there. It's good. It's actually a great thing, because that means you were ready for this to go, and then higher stuff can start coming in as soon as that clears some more. Actually, higher stuff is coming in already, but even more is coming in for you. And this is certainly a wonderful thing for you. So I'll leave it at that.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Franny, do you have anything to share or any thoughts?
Hi there. Not feeling so well tonight. So, yeah, I was on a trip and I got home and now I'm sick and the left side of my face is swollen. The gland on the left side is swollen. I thought it might be a tooth that was going bad, and I got in to see the doctor today and they said they think that it's a salivary gland that's blocked. There might be a stone or something in it. And, they're saying heat packs and eat some sour foods to get the saliva going again. But um, I'm just, it's painful. And, I feel kind of achy, like I've got the flu. I just wondered, it at one point it felt like this was part of some sort of energetic shift, like I just wasn't doing it easily or gracefully. So I guess I'd love to hear if there's any thing that you or anybody else has to say about what would help me get back to feeling better.
Well, I'll share first, and I'd love to hear if others have something, some inputs. It is a gland issue. It's caused by, it looks like some sort of, I don't know, viruses from infections or something, but it's something along that lines that caused it. And you are correct. I found, coincidentally, and trying to remember, Edgar Casey often talked about it, others did as well, is that sicknesses sometimes intersect with, physical ailments intersect with spiritual, energetic things, and that's indeed the case here. And it's just something that's come up. I'm not sure why it's manifested in this way. I know one of the things June always talked about, and it just seems to be a good general thing to take, is 2,000 or 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C, good quality vitamin C. Deborah, takes a solar array, but you find whatever one you use that resonates with you, use that. And when we are saturated with it, we get, of course, the Hershey squirts, but that's okay. That's when you back off to like 1,000 every hour after that, and that will help some. And I'm getting colloidal. I always say colloidal. It's colloidal, but I love to call it colloidal silver. Don't know why I call it that, but anyway, that would help you. It's going to raise your frequency up a bit, and it can facilitate this to move out. And if anyone else has any thoughts or any insights, I'd love to hear it. So I'm going to open the floor, please. Anyone? Jump in.
What I got, Franny, was that also it's a way, because there's some spiritual expansion that's happening. It's important that you be resting and not be doing a lot. So I feel like a part of the virus thing too is facilitating, making you, take rest and not be doing a lot of things. And, when we have a lot of energy coming in and shifting and things that are releasing, our immune system can drop and then we are more susceptible. At least that's what I found for myself. I end up getting sick because I'm just not at my optimum level because so much is going on internally and energetically.
Yes.
So
That makes sense. Thank you. I was thinking that part of the message of this was that I needed to just rest and not do anything. I needed to slow down, kind of hunker in and tend to my body and allow myself to do whatever it needs to do. So yeah, thank you for that. Oh, and I'll do the vitamin C. I don't have colloidal silver, but I can get started on the vitamin C tonight.
Yes.
and zinc. Zinc is really good for viruses.
Yes.
Oh,
Lots of zinc.
I have zinc. I have zinc.
Mhm.
Oh, I might even have an antiviral tincture. I think I probably do have an antiviral tincture. Okay. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for all of that.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Just wonderful. Zinc. Yes, that's an obvious one. Your high self wants you to test the antibacterial tincture before you use it. Test it. See if
Oh,
you should
okay.
take it. Test beforehand to see if you should take it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, the rest thing, Franny, you're known to go. So that's a very good insight there. Thank you very much.
Mm.
Yeah. And I know for me sometimes that has happened where I've had to just slow down, and I'm the same nature. I don't know, Franny. I like to go, and I think probably all do, but sometimes we need to slow down. So, all right. Is there anything else, Franny?
No, no, thanks everybody. I really wanted to be here tonight, so I took a nap and then got up earlier, and all of a sudden it was 7 o'clock. I was like, oh, I better hurry to get there. And I'm just glad to be here. So
I'm
I
glad.
know that I love our time together.
I know, isn't it wonderful? I cherish this time. Speaking of being together, for those who may have missed it, Brooke wrote me earlier, said that he had some things come up. He won't be here this time. He'll be next time, and let him talk about it, and it'll be wonderful. All right, Marci, do you have anything to share? Any thoughts at all to share with the group? Or any questions?
Yeah, I would say, Franny, colloidal silver is like #1 for just about everything if you can get a hold of that. The energy's been off the charts this week, high frequency, like just, fast train up, and then as high as you go, then more washes out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely interesting, but it's almost like being on big doses of caffeine. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah, yeah, it can do that to you. I just came to me to mention, I've talked about this once before, but it seems because of the caffeine thing comment. When I was working at a few years ago, when I was working at the Wilderness Club, configuring cabins, and there's a lot of details in configuring these custom cabins, everything from tile to cupboards to the architecture, what framing, windows, you name it, I did it all. And there was a lot of things to keep in my head at one time, and I did pretty well, but I realized I was very much in my right brain. So one day I noticed walking behind the couch, Moses, who's one of my guides, and Obadiah, who's my master guide, were walking behind the couch, and I just spotted them for a second. And I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but sometimes once you spotted them, they didn't want you to be spotted. They didn't want to be spotted. Next thing you know, they disappeared. But I thought, wow, that was weird. And I talked to them later, and they wouldn't tell me at all what was happening. And I thought, well, I didn't feel like anything happened. Anyway, long story short, that night I went to go to bed, and I literally did not sleep that entire night because they'd come in and would just, I guess, connected me with all this energy coming in, and I couldn't sleep. But interestingly, I wasn't tired the next day. So energy can really have profound effects on us, and the caffeine effect is certainly one of them. I can certainly testify to that. And I'm sure others, all of us have had this one time or another. It's amazing, and it's powerful stuff. So is there more, please?
Well, I know you were mentioning nutrition, and
I love chocolate, dark chocolate and cacao. And I don't, I'm not sure that I'm totally clear with whether it's beneficial or not. It feels like it really is when I eat it. I don't know if you can see anything to say yay or nay on that.
The sugars aren't good for you. Even the better sugars are still
Not
sugar.
sugar, not sugar, like dark cacao that's like 90%, so like minimal sugar,
Mhm.
or cacao that's none and I put honey in with it.
And that's better. And it has beneficial. It has some beneficial effects. There are some other effects because it has some other trace metals in it that aren't necessarily the best for us. But you have to. It's an individual thing, you know. And everyone, every now and then, I will tell you, we all have a time. It's like I want to be just a little bit naughty and have some chocolate, and that's okay. It's okay, you know. But just know clearing it. And chocolate, by the way, naturally contains phenylalanine. They are not. It's called a phenylketonuric. It's
Mhm.
it acts like the brain gives off more opiates. It acts on the phenylalanine acts on the endocrine system in our body and causes it to put out opiates to give us a warm fuzzy. That's why it's traditionally given as a gift of love, because it gives a warm, loving feeling from chocolate. It naturally contains it. Sadly, diet soda makers also put it in their sodas nowadays to make so people become addicted to it. But the short answer to your question is that, you know, probably in moderation you're fine, and you know we all want to have it from time to time, and you're having the better stuff, so that's good. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But you know,
So,
what's going on right now is part of the process we talked about beforehand before we started recording, and in previous conversations and emails. This is an important period for you to continue flowing with this. Your guides are all on board with your doing this. So they want you to continue. Just keep flowing with it.
okay. It does it. I'm feeling more of the pull that it's more of the pull to go back to the islands.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I mean, I'll be here at least another month, but maybe 2 months or something like that. Is that going to still be in support of what the guides are, of what my higher aspects want to do?
Yeah, it sounds like that's what you're being guided to do. When you said 1 month, I said, oh no, I think longer. And then you said 2. I said, yeah, that's closer. 1 month and a half, 2. And just go until
Yeah.
you'll know when it's done. You'll have that sense. It's like,
Okay.
oh, it's time to go. And
Yeah, it's starting to feel that way, and it's kind of like, okay, I know there's still things going on here. I can feel how we're helping each other, and but it does still have that feeling like it. Yeah, you're going back, and every once in a while I'll hear that little voice, like it's like a little kid's voice that says, "I want to go home. I want to go home," you know. So.
child self, yes. Yes, and don't go too prematurely. Let it finish up completely before you go. That's really important that it's really complete. Even if it means staying a week longer than it really was necessary, that it's better to do that than to leave a little early. Because this process and where you are, the connections you have going right now, and the ones that are going to be some new ones that are going to be coming in here soon, because it's an ongoing process, are really important before you go back for you to do what you need to do once you do go back, whether it's the Big Island or wherever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing was, and it's not this week because the energy is so different this week. I know with the lunar eclipses and the solar eclipse and that we're in this high period. But prior to that, I was feeling like, and there's something to do with working with my hands, with healing, with working with my hands, and it was like, okay, it felt like maybe it was qigong, and then it felt like, well, maybe it's lomi lomi, that Hawaiian massage, and there are classes available, and they're both further out, like towards October. And now everything's kind of gone flat this week because of this high energy. But is that something that's still part of the picture, or was that just a passing phase that I was experiencing that?
What I can say is I will confirm that yes, you're going to be working with energy, and yes, you're going to be working with your hands, energy with your hands, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, last night I dreamt, well, I didn't dream. I saw or I experienced, there's like a large man, like Native American, but he had blue eyes.
Mhm.
And I was just hugging him. And it was like some kind of healing was happening. And it was almost, it wasn't like a dream. It was like, this was happening.
Oh, and you know it is happening. The thing that's important about dreams that people know, the people you interact with in dreams, you're actually interacting with an aspect of them. They are playing a part in a role in a dream for, to let us know, literally and symbolically and energetically what's going on. It's happening at many different ways and many different levels. So it did happen.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's all. I'd love to tell you more, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be good and keep my mouth
I
shut.
know you
I'm
just
not
keep
gonna
me
tell.
dangling.
Tell. I'm excited. I think it's wonderful. That's it. I'm gonna say I better stop, or I'm gonna accidentally trip up and tell you. So, anyway, with that note, I'm so glad that you've kind of had some, things gel a little bit for you, and you've got some time left there, and you just enjoy and cherish that time. That's not for me.
I will. I'm gonna have a lot of fun this week because my one son's getting 2 baby goats, so I get to be the nanny and feed them.
Well, that ought to be fun.
It'll be fun.
Baby goats are fine. Bigger goats are not. I had when I was a teenager, I had me and this goat that we weren't meant for each other. That's all I'm going to say. Our lives together were never meant to be. So this.
Oh well.
Anyway,
Okay.
well,
Thank you. Sarah. Thank you.
yeah. Wow. Okay. Last but certainly not least, we saved the crescendo right here. Lisa, what do you have to share? Any thoughts? Anything happening? We'd love to hear it. Questions for myself, the group, anything. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Well, it's interesting that Poppy gets really hyper as soon as I get on this call. She gets really amped up. See, she's right here, right?
Yep.
Okay. Because all the rest of the day, she's just chill. But as soon as I got on this call, she got super hyper. So I've been trying to distract her this whole time. So lots of fun there. I've been really tired. I guess I've been working a lot too. Last week I finally got to go to the government center on the reservation and sell my products.
Wonderful.
I will be going back next week. So I've been waiting to try to get in there for a while now. And finally they had enough people that I guess stopped coming. And so they had space, but it's a beautiful facility. But I just really feel like, I don't know, certain people were drawn to me. Other people wouldn't even look at me. It was very interesting, but I feel like I'm gonna be definitely shining some light there, being right there in the middle of all of that. So I'm excited about that, but I've been really tired.
Yeah.
And kind of challenged with that. It feels like stuff. I was having this conversation with Pat, and you know, what I notice is that I just can't do as many daily tasks as what I used to do. I can't keep up that pace. Um, I get overwhelmed really easily. Hey. And I was telling her it's because I can feel so much going on eternally, like inside, energetically, all of that stuff, that it's like I can just barely, get done what I need to get done, like minimal stuff. So I don't know if other people are having that same experience, but I just know that I'm not keeping up with things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it does make sense, and they're showing me it, and what you are doing a lot. You already know that. I'll confirm that. Absolutely. And it's been going on for a while, and it's going to continue going on. It's going to change its flavor a little bit coming up here really soon. A little bit of flavor change in that. But you are doing so much. And yes, I'm going through that myself. That very same thing. It's just trying to keep the pace. And as I mentioned, that was the work thing. You know, that all those energetic stuff. When it affects my mental body, that affects my literal ability to function in the world. And all of a sudden, things that I know the answer to, you know, the code to onions, as I use it, it's a simple example. I know I do it 50, 60, 70 times a day, and all of a sudden now the number just disappears out of my head. And that's because of the reorganization. And it really does burn a lot of our physical energy processing this stuff. So yeah, and it's really important. This period's really important for you, Lisa, what you're doing, all this work. It's kind of the necessary work, all that, I don't know. It's kind of like when they're building a whole new subdivision, and there's all this work that has to done before anything can really be built. You can't even see a house built. All this groundwork and things have to be done, and you're going through another phase of some groundwork that's laying the foundation. Is laying the interconnections and growth for you to start moving into some this next thing that's coming up. This next, I'm going to say next phase. It's next. We've talked about this before. I don't have words for this anymore. But the old spectrum of things and phases have been fading, and you're moving more and more into them. And this is part of that as well. And there's other things as well, but we'd have to probably talk privately on that. So, but yeah, you've got. I can confirm that, and it's really good that you're doing it. And it just, you know, it's easy for me to say this, but keep going. If you have a
beneficial
go ahead.
to do the thing out at the reservation there.
Yes. Oh, I wanted to share with that. Thank you. Yes, and boy, I can really confirm you're going to have. It's really pronounced when I was watching it. In fact, just before you said it, I got to see it. There are people who, for reasons that I think you can identify right in their aura, don't want to see you. They're not ready for it. Your light shining through is the last thing they want to see. So they're going to go somewhere else. But there's others who truly need and are seeking the very things. I'm going to say that the energetic, the things you sell have energetic components to it by design. That's what you do. I mean, and even if it doesn't, by the very fact that you made them, has linkages of energies that others benefit from. And those people, they just need, I think some of them, and I'm sure you explain it to them, but when they come to understand what these things can help, how they can use, whether it's jewelry or, you know, bracelets or other things that you sell, whatever, if they can understand how it benefits them, they will certainly benefit from them. I mean, once they can understand how to be open to, that's the word, how to be open to the energies of the things that you provide, it's going to open them up to have blessings come in and really help healing and other things. And that seems to be something that, as you go out there to do that, it's really important that you facilitate, and I know you probably do, that they can have a connection with how what you have really can be, I'm going to use the word, the energies infused into their life, because just by whatever there's having it, you know, whether it's something that would be put on a table or a piece of an ornament or a fabric item, anything at all, arts and crafts, any of it will benefit them. And for those who are ready, it's good. And I hope you can stay out there. I hope you can continue to be out there. How often does this happen? How often can you go?
I think you can go out weekly, but I'm gonna go out this next week, which will be about 2 weeks in between. And I'm just gonna see how that goes. I'm thinking like once or twice a month
Okay.
is kind of
Good. And I think I'm just hoping as the people come through, those who are open, if you can make that connection with them, I think you can have a clientele base that will grow there, and which will benefit you not only in what you do just from the physical, worldly, financial aspect of your business, but it's going to be a real blessing to them. They just need to be open to understanding how it works. And that seems to why I keep repeating that is it seems like it's easy to have a disconnect on that with some of them. I don't know. Can you tell me what was your experience there as you so far?
There were quite a few people that were pretty open, and
Good.
they were really open to my sprays. They really liked everything I had. And I think, they're very, I talked to them about the energy, everything's energetically infused and intentions. And so they were really liking that. So, and there was actually one young lady there then there's younger people. There's a lot more younger people too,
Mhm.
which I like. But I was talking to this one girl, she was there for quite a while talking to me, and she's like, oh, well, they're teaching these classes. And she's like, maybe you could co-teach, maybe you could teach us something here. And so she says, well, you should talk to so-and-so. And I said, okay. And then the next thing I know, she went and got the lady, brought her out, introduced me, and I talked to this lady for a little while, and she said, okay, I'll send you some stuff and maybe we could teach some things. And I was like, wow, that'd be cool. So
I'm so glad you said that. I'm just really feeling like there's such potential for them, and they are really those. I want to use the word more so than a lot of people, and I don't exactly know why, other than they really need it. Are really going to be benefiting. If everyone else benefits this much, they're going to benefit this much more just by with all that you offer. I'm glad. I'm excited for you. This is wonderful, and excited for them because this is a real opportunity for some real, you're bringing in the light and then sharing it, and they're sharing it with each other, and just having it grow. That would be something that would be a wonderful blessing to them and an opportunity for you. So, but I feel like it's going to go. I don't want to say things that go slow, but I feel like it's going to go it'll move at its own pace. I'm going to put it that way. That's how I'm going to say it. Wow.
yeah.
I'm seeing it. I don't have words for it right now. I'm processing it. Maybe I'll have more for you later. So,
Yeah, when I got there, I could really feel stuff happening, and I could already feel the potential of as I keep coming back. It was
yes.
just coming in, and I was like, okay, I am supposed to be here, and it's going to, who knows what will, open up, but it definitely felt good being there. So
I absolutely agree with you. Yes. And it is for you to be there, and it's just, you are the right person to be there. And I'm looking to hear more as the next, as it continues, maybe after the next one or two times to see what you have, the next insights to hear what you have to say, or if you send me an email, if you have some experience, but they need the light. It absolutely, the light is one, and like the light wants to be there. The light wants to be there, and you certainly have a way and a mechanism in the things to offer to bring that light in, not only yourself, but again, all that you the things that you sell. So, well,
yeah, I'm excited.
I am too. And I don't have as many words for it. I'm finding it kind of challenging to talk about it. And I think it's probably because it's at the formative stages, but wow. Anytime I see a group of people who are in need, and then they're open to it and receptive, and going with it, it makes my heart sing and that's what I'm saying for these people, is that this is just such an opportunity. Anyway, I've said enough. So thank you. Anything else?
no, I think that's it. Just, yeah, a lot going on, a lot of shows coming up. So I'm just trying to get prepped and ready for everything because summer's coming. So
Is it going to be real busy?
yeah, I think I'm be doing more shows. I'll be doing at least a couple shows a week, not a week, a month. And then if I go to the reservation, so that's another thing. So yeah, I'm gonna be pretty busy. And then they just showed the movie The Blessing Bracelet, the Hallmark movie, over the weekend a couple times, and I just got slammed with orders. And so I have 20 orders. I already made probably like 30 orders. I have 20 more to make. So
Wow.
it's crazy right now. I'm just
Awesome. I'm excited for you. I know it's a lot of work, and it's easy for me to be excited when I'm not the one having to do the work, but it's one of those blessings that includes work, but wow, you're being recognized and your work and your service to others. What a, that in my mind is the ultimate way to do things, and doing something where we're doing our spiritual work and we're doing it in the world and able to make a living at it. So, wow. I'm certainly want to
it
hear.
feels like my
Go ahead.
has really shifted.
Yes, it is. And I can tell you this, you've got some directional things coming up for you, where you want to put emphasis, more emphasis, less emphasis. And it looks like you're already aware of that. And that's going to become more and more something you'll have to balance out so that you can keep all the balls in the air, that sort of thing. I think it's not going to be a big thing, but I think you're just going to have to be aware of it, and it'll happen at many levels. It'll happen intuitively as well as mentally, with thinking about it, but just keeping it. Where do you want to expand? Where do you want to? What direction? I can't even put words to it, but where you want to put more emphasis, less emphasis, more, what mix of things, that sort of thing. But it looks like to me, they're showing me is that you're flowing with this well. This is manifesting very positively, even though it's a lot of work. So I don't have anything else.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, I wanted to let you know, we just got mail. We don't get mail very often. We just got our mail today, and it was a surprise from Lisa in there. So thank you. Deborah's going to call you on that tomorrow. So I'm just going to leave it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So, I'm just not going to take away her thunder. She wants to talk to you about it. So anyway, wow. Well, everyone's had a chance to talk. I want to go around again, just one more time. It feels like there's still energy flowing, and just so much is happening in the world. The energies, I agree with you, are flowing in, and they're very high frequency energies, and it just keeps raising and raising. For years I've thought this just can't keep going at this pace, and yet it continues, and it's a wonderful thing. Such opportunity for us to just be connected and following our higher guidance, and not getting caught up in the world out there. And we always talk about that. I know a few people out there, not part of this group here, but some others that I know who are pursuing a spiritual path, but it's easy for them to get caught up. It's easy for any of us if we allow it. Our lower self might get caught up in something that isn't ours, and just to bless it and send it on its way, and just to follow our path. And as things come in that is for us, that are to be a part of our life, yes, we walk with it and flow with it, but it's also important not let other people pass on to us that which is theirs to address. So, and I think we all know that. Anyway, so it sounds like looks like your dog is mellowed out a little bit, Lisa. And the other thing that happens with this, I don't know about everybody else, as these higher energies come in, I find sometimes during, especially my days off, I'm not even doing all that much, and I need to take little micro naps to integrate energies as they're coming in. And just if you find yourself doing that, it's fine and dandy. Let yourself do it. It's really important. Just and go with it. And the one thing that happens, it can happen with any of us, and I know it happens with me. I don't know if you've had the experience, but if you ever get called where you feel like you have to meditate, I get sometimes pulled into meditation. I literally cannot stay conscious. And I don't need sleep. I need to go deep into meditation, and I don't even have to spend long there, 10, 20 minutes, and I'm done. All of a sudden I'm back. And that's because stuff's coming in. Integrations have to happen before we can move on. If you find yourself having that happen, just flow with it. Find yourself a little space, take a little 20-minute meditation, and just go whatever depth you go, and that's fine. And then when you come out, you're good. So just wanted to share that. I'm sure most of us already know that, but I just know that that's been happening to me a bit more than normal lately. And I'm sure it's just because as we all are experiencing the energies. So I don't have anything more. I'm going to quit talking now and just go around and see if anyone has any last thoughts, anything at all, any questions, anything at all. And I'm going to start with Pat up there again. Pat, do you have anything, any last thoughts, anything you'd like to share before we close?
Yeah, a little bit like with what you just said, it really rings true in just an experience I had yesterday on that little sleep. I was starting to, I mean, we were happening to do all these things, and it was very, it could have been very emotionally draining, which it was at times. But I found myself like a little later than mid-afternoon having an experience like the no sleep thing was just like, I thought I felt like I was in a freaking movie anyway, ever since last week, like living in a movie, not a real world. But it was like I was taken out while I was sitting there. I don't know where Chris was. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. And it was like so brief. I want to say not even minutes, but maybe seconds. And when I came back in, I've never had an experience quite like this. I was more centered, more balanced. Yes, I was aware I still was very tired, but I knew I could make it. And it had to be with these high frequencies and working through them and with them, just like I realized too, as you were talking with different people tonight and how we talk about the light, I suddenly remembered being in Christopher's. He asked me if I'd go in with him. He was really afraid to see his young lady probation officer. And that was like, oh my gosh, she was really looking at me sometimes. And I realized just now, every one of these agencies, even if we were spreading the light,
Yes.
and so many thousands of people, it goes out to them, and even in other countries, that whatever. So that was really quite an astounding thing tonight to be aware of that. And even John would be out in the car, but he's spreading the light to the whole building and parking lot.
Absolutely. And grounding it there where
Yeah.
it's desperately needed.
So
Your little mini meditation where you were taken out, I was going to share one thing about that.
yeah.
Okay. I'll give you the for short version. Sometimes we can be taken out and we do a whole lot of stuff on another realm that would literally take us 2 days to do it. I'll make up a number. And then we're back in it 3 seconds later, back in their body. That is what happened with you.
Interesting.
They took you out. You did I'll say, I'll make up a number, 4 hours worth of spiritual, energetic work, lots of stuff, came back in feeling like you're different. I'm going to say it that way. You're ready. That's what happened with you.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
Wow.
that's interesting that it happened that way. So you didn't have a lot of time to spend, yet they had all the stuff they needed to do for you so that you could continue. And so they took you out and did things in in another dimension, another level, where it would have been 3 or 4 Earth hours to do, and then you come back in 90 seconds later, that sort of thing. So that's what happened with you. So you know.
Yeah, and it's to me it's astounding too that like so Chris and John and I we would each get like totally stressed out, and sometimes we'd get a little stressed toward each other just because it was there. But then we could bring it back together.
Yeah.
We could recognize it. Each one of us could look at it.
Yeah.
So, and everybody in the group, if you don't mind, just sending Chris some white light and blue light and all that, because, now he's dealing with a whole new situation that will go from 5:30 at night until whatever time the next morning. And my word, but I didn't say it to him, is a new adventure. But it's an adventure that I wouldn't want to be the one having, so he's having it. For many, many, many people.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Well, thank you. And certainly lots of light to Chris. Absolutely. And you both.
Thank you.
Well, yes.
Thank you for all the support of everybody. And thanks, Jeff.
Well, you're welcome. Blessings to you both and to all of you. Paula, do you have anything? Anything more to share? Thoughts? Anything at all?
No, just a big thank you. The melancholy, just being with everyone's high energy. I can feel mine coming up, and I appreciate that very much. So thank you all.
Thank you. Wow. Okay, I'm going to do a little different. Jessica, do you have anything to share? Anything at all? Any closing thoughts? Any closing questions? Anything at all? Jessica must have stepped away. Aaron, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything at all?
I guess I'm just want to give a little update on my business, my health coaching business. So I'm taking the steps and slowly, like I got my Facebook page, a couple posts on that the other day, and got my scheduler all set up and all that. So I'm moving forward step by step on that, and I'm hoping that people will schedule some appointments soon. So probably next week is the last day or last week of the course, and yeah, and I have to do a little bit to be endorsed, but I'll get that done in the next few weeks, and I'm ready to go now, but then I'll be official. So
all right, well, thank you, and let us know how that goes next time. We'd love to hear an update. And it's always exciting when we're starting something new, and now it's a lot of work, but ultimately as you connect with people and they can see the benefit, the word will get out. So
I hope so.
Thank you. Tonya, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything at all to share?
Just one question. Do you have any recommendations for the meditations that you were talking about? Like which one?
No, they actually said the one that you're called to, because they all have, we do this lead in, and it takes a certain length of time to connect, to connect with our high self oftentimes, and sometimes with the divine, and move into it, and it creates a sacred space. And that's the process they want you to go through. So if you find one that you're called to use, they all the meditations do that, some more than others, but all of them. And boy, they really want you to just pick one. And I would say something along the lines of following following your heart. So that's a hint there. There's a few of them out there, that are for use. You'll see it, and just listen to that. And if you want to listen to another one, it's fine. But they're going to really help you in this process. Just going through the meditation itself, any one of them, but the ones that deal with the heart and following your heart, pick one of those and listen to it. Any one of them.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, everybody. I enjoy everybody's insight and energy. So hope everybody has a good evening.
Oh, thank you. And let us know how it goes. You can send me an email if you want. Love to hear it. See how the meditation works for you. Maybe like wait a day or two and then tell me.
Sounds good. I'll do that. Thanks.
All right. Franny, any last thoughts, comments, questions, anything at all?
Just wanted to say to Pat, I'm glad to hear that things went so well. So appreciate hearing all about that. And what a journey, huh? And for Lisa, I wanted to say it just seems so important that you're there on the reservation. Seems really important. And it's almost like I could get an impression of the light and the darkness, and just focus on the light. Like we can be curious about the dark and want to analyze it and see into it and blah, 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 blah. And just stay, like, just keep your eyes on the light and don't worry about the dark. Just know that it's there, but don't be distracted by it. I would say something like that. And the questions I had, I haven't worked with colloidal silver in a long time. So do you drink it? Do you put it
Yes.
on a
Drink it.
cloth and put it on the hurt place, or what do you do?
Well, typically, Deborah, she likes to, and I'm getting this would work for you. They're really good because it's in the mouth area. You'll take whatever they recommend. Deborah takes 5 milliliters. I think it's what it is. Little bitty cup thing in about half full, a tablespoon. I'll make up a number, tablespoon. Whatever says in the bottle, she'll put it in her mouth and she holds it there for a minute and then swallows it. It really raises the frequency, especially if you're holding it in your mouth. Silver is a very powerful thing. Kay used to one time, my friend Kay, sat on I guess they had 100 pounds of stack of silver, and she sat on the stack of silver, and it changed her health very, very quickly. And I want to say energetically, you're open in a very similar way as Kay is. To the energies of silver. I'm going to tell you more so than a lot of other people. So that's how you do it. And if you get called to do it other ways, that's fine, but that will certainly be, that's what they recommend. And if anyone else has anything to share, you can do it. There's probably other methods of using colloidal silver, but that's the one I'm getting that we use, and it will certainly, I know for a fact, it'll benefit you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I also had a question about the eclipse on Monday. Those incoming energies, and I'm supposed to be driving on Monday, so I'm not real excited about that. I wish I could just kind of hunker down, and maybe it'll be okay. Maybe I'll be inside during the eclipse, so that's okay. Anyway, I don't want to be driving during it. What can you say about the energies of the eclipse?
I think this isn't my specialty. I can see that you'll be okay. It
Okay.
has some disruptive elements to it. Does anyone else have anything to share on that? This is certainly not my strong point. The whole planetary movements and the energies associated with them. I see them, I can sense them, and I know that some are beneficial, some detract from the whole situation, but it's certainly not my where I process the energies well. Anyone have anything to share about that?
Normally I'm pretty caught up or in tune with those things, but I haven't been paying attention very much to the astrological stuff, so I'm not sure why, but it definitely feels, I could just say for my intuitive sense of it, it's like this real stillness that we're going into. And then when we have that eclipse, it's like we go into the 0 point, and then things get kind of rebooted, if that makes sense. So that's why it's kind of nice if you can just, even if you're driving, if you could just pull over and during that time and just be still, that would be beneficial. That way you can kind of just not be driving, because it's kind of disruptive. And so if you can just take a moment to be still and just be with the energies, that would be good. But yeah, normally I'm into the astrological stuff, but I haven't been for a while now. So I'm curious as to what's happening with this one.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you both. That's for asking and for Lisa for sharing that. Yeah, that's not something I'm called to do, so I usually don't talk about it unless it really comes through strongly, and which happens on rare occasions. So thank you. I have one more thing I want to. Well, I'm thinking about it because before I go to Marci here. Boy, it cannot be understated the importance of the light coming into the reservation where you're going, where when you go out there to sell, all the places you go, but you are such a beacon of light shining there. That alone is wonderful, but everything you do and the things that they can take with them, they're bringing that energy and that connection home and anchoring it. And it's such a powerful thing, and they're in such need of it. They don't want me to say any more than that, but I'm just really looking forward to hearing how it goes in future times that you go out there and what happens. So, yeah, that you're an incredibly intensely bright beacon of light there, and that is, it's medicine to those in need. So, all right. Marci, do you have any last thoughts? Any last questions? Anything at all?
Well, it feels like we're all kind of in that stillness during this call. This whole energy of the call has been really different. And it's just such a good reminder of how we all are connected, and just the similarities is really heartwarming. And I just want to mention Master Katumi, and I was working with him today, and for some reason that name just wants to be part of this. So,
okay.
Yeah, thank you for everything.
Thank you. And I'm glad you said those words. It's been what I heard beforehand for the session, before the insights started tonight, this was to be mellow, but it's mellow in sometimes when we have the overpowering intensity of something. Sublime can be really wonderful. Sublime can also be where we are having so saturated that it becomes a sublime immersion almost. It's beyond our ability to talk about it. It's a mellow in the sublime sense of the super high frequency transcendent energies coming in. They're intense, yet they're mellow. They are sublime. The word is, and Joseph Campbell talked about that, where the sublime can be the two aspects of it, and we can have, and I think in its own quiescent way, that's what's happening tonight. It's the antenna energies coming in are very intense, as I think Lisa's dog would testify, because she's mellow all the time, and all of a sudden, you always know when things are up. But also, that's what's coming through, and that's what needs to come through. And just so you know, it's an integrating, refining energy, which is recently happened during the session as well. I saw that coming in, this refining, calming, smoothing energy, and that's part of what's happening coming in tonight. And I think it's really needed for the world, and each of you and each of us is a light worker. We're anchors of this light, and for the world, and all that we do and all that you do is so important, not only for your own spiritual growth, but for everyone that you meet. Just walking around in public, just doing the things you do, like Pat did, and Franny, all the work you do, and Aaron, what you're doing, and Paula and Jessica and Tonya and Marci, and Lisa, just all of you, just all the work you do just spreads out there in wave after wave after wave into the world, and it's a blessing beyond our knowing. And that's what I just heard from. Actually, it's from Christ Jesus, but it's from Jesus as Yeshua, as he just said, and that is what he wants everyone to know before we close. So with that, Just so wonderful. We'll see you next month. And until then, blessings, light, and love. And I'm going to close out the session. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye-bye.